Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. It's a channel that is run by the fans for you, the fan. So if you want to have that daily fix of your Rangers content, if you want the latest news, updates, and views, if you want podcasts on a weekly basis, like the one on Wednesday with Adam Thornton from Heart and Hand that's coming up, and you want live streams during the season, this is your channel to come to. So hit that sub, ring that notification bell. And you know what, guys? Help me out, give the video a like. It does help. Okay, a few things to get through this morning, this afternoon, this evening, even depending on obviously when you are picking up this Glasgow Rangers Nation video. As I know that people come to the video, throughout the day, not just first thing in the morning, perhaps during your lunch break at work, perhaps in the evening once you're home from work. So let me know, obviously when you like to pick up the video as well. It's always interesting for me to know when people are watching and picking up the content. And obviously any of the stories that we mentioned this morning, if you've got a thought or a comment or a question, then get it in the comments below. Because here on Glasgow Rangers Nation, one of the things we pride ourselves on is always, trying to reply to your comments, which is something that the vast majority of channels never do, never really valuing what you've got to say. But it's something that we do here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. Okay, so let's talk. I'll start off by talking about news regarding Janis Haji. Now, Michael Beale's talked about the fact that a number of players may still be departing the club this summer. More of that shortly coming up in what Michael had to say on that. But a player that has certainly caused a bit of debate amongst fans is Romanian international Janis Haji, son of course, the legendary Georgi Haji. Now, during title season 55, Janis Haji was a fundamental part of that team and really did impress and played exceptionally well after joining from Genk. I think, he was an absolute quality player. Obviously, the injury that he had, and the knee injury that he sustained, I think back it was against Aberdeen, really set him back, and I think has sort of damaged his career to some extent. But you know what? When you get an ACL injury, it takes you at least a calendar year to get yourself over it and get back up to speed. There's always that thought in your mind that, if you twist, if you turn, if you move the right way or the wrong way, you need to go again. And that kind of plays on your mind. It takes a couple of, I think, even a couple of months after that, getting your knee back into full working form to get your confidence back, never mind your fitness and form back. And that's something that's going to take time for Yanis. Of course it is. And obviously, I know that Victoria wishes Yanis all the best. Now, according to a number of reports that are swirling around at the moment, that Rangers are willing to listen to offers for the Romanian international. Now, personally, I hope this is not true. I'd like to see Yanis stay for at least another season. I think he has something to contribute. I think he has a great range of passing. He can score you a goal. He's very good in Europe. He's got good tactical awareness. He is a good quality player, and we can't get rid of vast numbers of players. Yes, we've brought in a fair few players and hopefully we'll be bringing in more this week, but we can't just clear everyone out in one go. That just does not work. So Yanis Hadji has been linked with a number of teams. Now I'm going to give you the teams that he's been linked with, and one of them is going to shock you. Well, it might not shock you depending if you've read the report already, but Lecce in Serie A, get it, totally get it. Italy, slower form of football, more possession based, might suit Yanis Hadji. La Liga team, Espanyol, again, could suit Yanis. Slower, more deliberate form of build-up football, very much a tiki-taka style. Same with the link to Celta Vigo in Spain, again, and the Spanish team. I get that, 100% understand that. That's sort of the teams that I think would suit Yanis' style of play and perhaps will, suit the fact that, one of the things that Yanis does struggle with is his speed. So that's something you need in Scotland with the million miles an hour, particularly in the old firm game. Also linked with him is of course, the Turkish team Galatasaray, who, like I've mentioned on previous videos, seem to think it is their divine destiny to sign son of Georgi, Yanis Haji. Now, there was a very strange report in Scottish media this morning linking Aberdeen to Yanis Haji. Now, look, I'm not wishing to be condescending. I'm not wishing to be rude. I'm not wishing to be arrogant. I'm not wishing to seemingly belittle the team from up north. But realistically, could you see Aberdeen paying over 3 million, which is a base price for Yanis Hadji? Could you see Yanis Hadji wanting to move up to Aberdeen if he's got, people in Serie A that want him, people in La Liga that want him, Gala that want him, and let's face it, Gala, Celta Vigo, teams like that are going to pay £3.5, £4.5 million for him. They've got the money. And Aberdeen, would they get into a bidding war? Can they afford that type of player? It just seemed a very, very odd link, and kind of, I don't know, it just seemed a bit like a bit of a clickbait to me. Let's obviously put in the teams that are more accurate for Haji, the Leches, the Celta Vigos, the Espanyol, the Galatasarays of this world. And you know what? Let's stick in a bigger clickbait. Let's stick in Aberdeen. That'll get Rangers fans tongues wagging. That'll get Rangers clicking. That'll get Rangers fans laughing. That'll get Rangers fans up in arms a little bit, obviously, given the fact that Rangers and Aberdeen are, more so them than us, have this rivalry. Especially them, they've kind of got this intense rivalry with us and play like it's a World Cup stroke Champions League final every time they come across Rangers, don't they? So that's the effort they don't really put in against that lot from across the city. I suppose it dates back to the 80s and early 90s when, if you look back at those times, it was often Aberdeen versus Rangers for trophies and not not Rangers versus that monkey mob from across our great city. So you can kind of understand that. But Janis Haji to Aberdeen, really can't see it, really don't get it, and really think it is a little bit of a made up story yesterday morning when it actually came out. Okay, so talking of players that may be coming in, players that may be going out, Michael Beale spoke about this to media, and this is what he had to say. Michael Beale stated that we're not going to stop there. There are maybe 2 or 3 more. We're also looking to recruit over the summer. There'll be 1 or 2 on the move out as well. So what I'm looking for is real energy, real excitement, real freshness, real motivation to match mine. That's obviously aimed at the players who returned to pre-season training at Auchenhowie on Friday. It's interesting, isn't it, that Michael Beale, even after the signings that have already been made, that we're still talking about 2 or 3 more players. Signing 3 more players, that brings up to 8. 8, that's right, the total of new players into Rangers this summer. Now, I know the names, the names that, Jose Cifuentes is likely to be the next one after Cyril Dessers. If you read all the intelligence and all the comment and all the articles on social media and in newspaper media and in written media, it seems very much that Jose Cifuentes, who I think will be an excellent acquisition, is the next man in after the Cyril Dessers deal is finally concluded after its long saga. And we're not going to talk about Dessers in this, we're not going to cause all that debate yet again. Other rumours obviously are linked to Danilo, the Feyenoord striker, although worrying reports have emerged over his value. I do take with a pinch of salt that £17 million mark one. It does smack a little bit that, if that's sort of been what's been put out there, it's more he's not for sale kind of price tag rather than an actual serious price tag on behalf of Feyenoord. But it's really to be hoped that this week we will see 1 or 2 signings in through the door to continue that development, to continue the and extend the amount of bedding in time the new players have to bed in with the squad, and the squad come together and be coherent playing with all these new players. That's got to be the desire. That's our Rangers review was certainly talking about that. Talking about that about the signings, about Michael Beale and players coming in the next week or so to our great club. So that's the first thing, like I said, listen, who do you think it's going to be? Let me know in the comments below. But I love the comments at the end from Michael Beale that he wants players with real energy, real excitement, freshness, and motivation that matches his own. Now, it's clear that Michael Beale is very driven, very focused on getting this right at Rangers this season. He wants the club to move forward. He wants the club to move in the right direction. And I think that's something we will do under Michael Beale. His tactical astuteness, his ability to spot a player, all good qualities that are going to stand him in good stead. And stand Rangers in good stead for the coming 2023-2024 season. I love the fact that he wants the players to play with energy. He wants the players to play with excitement. He wants them to have a freshness and a real motivation to go out there and win. And hearing that from the manager is pretty spot on. Fantastic to hear that indeed from Michael Beale. And, I think we just trust in Michael now. We trust in the players that he's bringing in. We trust in, we give him the chance to really impress over the coming months and really take Rangers on to that next level, which is what is certainly hoped by the vast majority of fans. Okay, let's finish up today by talking a little bit about Jonathan Panzo. Now, Rangers have been repeatedly linked with a number of centre-half targets: Panzo, Trusty, Cresswell, a number of players that have been linked with a move to Rangers this summer after, reports circulated around Ben Davies and the fact that he could well be on his way out of Rangers. Although there was reports, saying that Michael Beale was happy with Ben Davies. So, where we're up to with Ben Davies, who knows? Like I said, nothing's been said in particular. Nothing's been put in concrete at all when it comes to the player. However, the story today on Jonathan Panzo has changed and evolved as the day went on. Now, the day started off, this is Sunday, so he started off with stories in the paper that the deal was close, the deal was imminent, that it was just a case of dotting the I's, crossing the T's, getting ready to bring Panzo in. Certainly something I would welcome. The guy can play left centre back, he can play left back, he's young, he's got a lot of growth in him, he's enthusiastic, he's a good tackler, reads the game well, fits the sort of needs of Rangers at this moment in time. However, this is what was written by a Scottish journalist, a well-known Scottish journalist, someone who rumoured the Abdullah Sima not long before it was actually completed. He certainly seems to be in the know when it comes to Rangers. He said, been told by sources on all sides that a move for Jonathan Panzo to Rangers is not any closer. Rangers remain interested. They know the fee and wages, but have yet to trigger the deal. German and English clubs also remain actively in talks with Panzo's camp. So it appears that although Rangers know what the asking price is for Nottingham Forest, and they know what wages Panzo wants, it appears they're not ready to do that deal. Now, whether that is because the transfer fee is too high and the wages are too high, or whether Rangers haven't got the money, who knows? Who knows where we're at? And I don't think we've spent anywhere near 15 to 20 million yet. It's just not there yet. I think personally, this player could be a very good, young, promising player. You're certainly someone who I think could come in and do a decent job and certainly back up the likes of Connor Goldson and John Souter and obviously Leon King as well, who had a very fine end to the season for me. The fact, obviously, that Rangers don't want to pay or seem a bit reticent to pay is slightly worrying. And, going forward, that lot from across the sea do have a massive transfer budget, and they do at this present moment in time have more money than us. So, therefore, it's worrying, or perhaps it's they're willing to spend more. I don't know. But it is worrying that Rangers may be haggling over a couple of million or £500,000 here, £500,000 there. It's interesting as well that Panzo is wanted by German and English clubs. English clubs reportedly are West Bromwich Albion and Coventry City, both of whom aren't major threats to Rangers, unless, of course, Rangers don't get the bid in and don't match the valuation of the player and the player's wage demands. That obviously could be a worry. But English Championship clubs are not overly blessed in the certainly not as cash rich, shall we say, as their EPL counterparts. Again, unless they've just been recently relegated from the Premiership, then they have transfer. Then they will obviously have the parachute payments that can help them on the way down. But certainly, interesting that it does seem that the Panzo deal is nowhere near. And so that is definitely, I think, 99% certain not going to be one of the deals that is announced this week by head coach Michael Beale. Oh, well, guys, that is pretty much it for this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you are picking up this video. Obviously, keep your eyes open, your ears to the ground. There will be more content coming out as news breaks, as stories break around Glasgow Rangers. So all I need you to do two things for me, and that's it. Just two things. Number one, smash that like. And number two, I would love it if you remember always, we are the people.